Ever wondered which coins are worth more than gold? Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the most expensive coins ever sold. I'm Irwa Tanvir, and believe me, you're not gonna believe the stories behind these little pieces of metal. You see, in my line of work, you learn that everything has a story and a price. But some things are just on another level. We're talking about coins that have seen empires rise and fall, coins that were never supposed to exist, and coins that are so beautiful they're considered works of art. These aren't just collectibles, they're time capsules you can hold in your hand. From ancient treasures to modern rarities, here's the complete story behind each one. We'll explore why a single coin can be worth millions, sometimes tens of millions, of dollars. It's not just about the metal they're made of, it's about the history they carry, the rarity, and the incredible journeys they've been on. We'll look at a coin minted during the Great Depression that was ordered to be destroyed, the very first dollar ever made by the United States, and a piece of gold from medieval England that survived against all odds. So, get ready to see some of the most sought-after and valuable objects on the planet. I've seen a lot of amazing things come through my shop doors, but the coins on this list are the stuff of legend. We're gonna break down what makes each one special, who made them, and how they ended up selling for astronomical prices at auction. You never know what's gonna come through that door, and today, it's a history lesson worth millions. Alright, let's start with the king of them all, the 1933 Double Eagle. This coin right here is the Mona Lisa of the coin world, and its story is straight out of a Hollywood movie. Picture this, it's 1933, the height of the Great Depression. People are struggling, banks are failing, and the government is desperate to stabilize the economy. President Franklin D. Roosevelt makes a drastic decision. He takes the United States off the gold standard. He issues Executive Order 60-10-2, which makes it illegal for private citizens to own gold coins, bullion, or certificates. The U.S. Mint had already produced nearly 500,000 of these beautiful $20 gold pieces, designed by the famous sculptor Augustus St. Gaudens. But with FDR's new order, they were never officially issued. The government's instructions were clear: melt them all down. Every single one was supposed to be turned back into gold bars and stored away in Fort Knox. It was a complete recall, a government-mandated destruction of what would have been a stunning piece of American currency. The story should have ended right there, with all of them gone forever. But here's where it gets interesting. You know how it is, there's always a loophole, always someone who knows a guy. Somehow, a handful of these coins, we think around 20, escaped the melting pots. They were smuggled out of the Philadelphia Mint, likely by a rogue employee who saw an opportunity. For years, these coins existed in the shadows, traded secretly among collectors who knew they were holding on to something illegal, something forbidden. They were contraband, a numismatic ghost. The Secret Service got wind of this and spent decades hunting them down. They tracked them across the country, seizing them from collectors and dealers. It was a federal investigation spanning years. One by one, they were recovered, and all but 2 were destroyed. One of those remaining 2 ended up in the collection of King Farouk of Egypt, a notorious collector of, well, everything. He had legally obtained an export license for it just days before the recall, a bureaucratic slip-up that made his coin a unique case. After King Farouk was overthrown in 1952, his massive collection was set to be auctioned off. The US government requested the return of the 1933 Double Eagle, but in the chaos of the revolution, the coin vanished. It disappeared for over 40 years, becoming a legend. Then, in 1996, it resurfaced in New York City in the hands of a British coin dealer. It was a sting operation, and after a 5-year legal battle, a unique settlement was reached. The coin was declared legal to own, but only this specific one. So, this one-of-a-kind, officially monetized 1933 Double Eagle went up for auction at Sotheby's in 2002. The room was electric. When the hammer finally fell, it sold for a staggering $7.59 million. But the story doesn't end there. In 2021, that same coin was sold again, this time for an incredible $18.9 million. That sale cemented its status as the most expensive coin in the world. It's a survivor, a piece of history that literally defied an order from the President of the United States. What makes it so valuable? It's the perfect storm of rarity, a killer backstory, and its unique legal status. It's the only 1933 Double Eagle that a private citizen can legally own. There's another one in the US National Numismatic Collection, but you can't buy that one. So you have a coin born in crisis, ordered to be destroyed, smuggled out of the mint, hunted by the Secret Service, owned by a king, lost for decades, and then finally sold for a world record price. You can't write a better story than that. Next up, we have a coin that represents the very beginning of America's story as a nation. This is the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar. When you hold one of these, you're holding the birth of American currency. After the Revolutionary War, the young United States needed to establish its own identity, and a big part of that was creating its own money. In 1792, Congress passed the Coinage Act, which established the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia and authorized the production of the nation's first coins. It took a couple of years to get everything up and running. The mint was a new operation, and they had to build the machinery from scratch. The coin press they used was a man-powered screw press, which was pretty primitive even for the time. It meant that striking these large silver dollars was physically demanding work. On October 15, 1794, the U.S. Mint produced its very first batch of silver dollars. They only managed to strike about 2,000 coins that day, and only 1,758 of them were deemed acceptable for circulation. The design itself is iconic. On the front, you have the flowing hair portrait of Lady Liberty, with her hair streaming behind her, meant to symbolize freedom. On the back, there's a rather skinny-looking eagle surrounded by a wreath. It's not the most majestic eagle we've seen on a coin, but it was a start. This design was only used for 2 years, 1794 and 1795, before it was replaced. The 1794 version is the true first of its kind, the patriarch of every US dollar that followed. Because the minting process was so difficult and the quality control wasn't great, many of these coins were poorly struck. The dies would often clash or break. As a result, finding a 1794 flowing hair dollar in good condition is tough. Finding one in pristine mint condition is next to impossible. Experts believe that only about 130 to 150 of the original 1,758 coins still exist today, and most of them are heavily worn from their time in circulation. Now let's talk about the specific coin that broke all the records. This particular specimen is believed by many experts to be the very first silver dollar ever struck by the US Mint. It's in spectacular condition, with sharp details and a reflective, proof-like surface that you just don't see on other examples. It was likely handled with extreme care from the very beginning, possibly presented to a VIP or kept as a presentation piece by the mint director himself. It's the finest known example by a long shot. For over 200 years, this coin was passed down through the hands of prominent collectors, each one preserving its incredible state. It became known as the Cardinal Collection specimen, named after one of its famous owners. In 2013, it came up for auction. The bidding was fierce, as collectors vied for a chance to own what is essentially America's #1 dollar. When the dust settled, it sold for just over $10 million, making it the first coin ever to surpass that 8-figure mark. Think about what that price represents. It's not just for a piece of silver, it's for the history. This coin was there when the United States was just an idea, a fragile experiment. It could have been in the pocket of one of the founding fathers. It represents the moment America stepped onto the world stage and said, "We are a nation, and this is our money." Owning this coin is like owning the first page of America's financial history. That's a story you can't put a price on, unless that price is $10 million. Now this next one is a personal favorite of mine. It's a coin that wasn't made by a government, but by a private citizen, a craftsman who was neighbors with George Washington. I'm talking about the 1787 Brasher doubloon. The man behind it was Ephraim Brasher, a respected goldsmith and silversmith in New York City. After the Revolution, the newly formed states were in a bit of a currency mess. There was a mix of foreign coins, state-coined money, and paper notes. It was chaotic. Brasher saw an opportunity. He believed the country needed a standardized gold coinage and decided to show them how it could be done. He petitioned the state of New York to let him mint copper coins, but they turned him down. So, what does a determined craftsman do? He decides to mint his own coins anyway, but not out of copper. He used his own gold to strike a small number of these beautiful doubloons based on the weight and value of the Spanish doubloon, which was a trusted currency at the time. This was a bold move. He wasn't just making a token, he was creating a high-value gold coin that rivaled anything produced by a sovereign nation. The design is pure, early Americana. On one side, you have the New York State coat of arms with the sun rising over a mountain peak, symbolizing a new beginning. On the other, the American eagle with a shield on its chest, clutching an olive branch and arrows. It was a powerful statement of independence and national pride. What makes the Brasher doubloon truly unique is his personal touch. To guarantee the quality of his work, Ephraim Brasher stamped his own initials EB right onto the coin. Most of the known examples have this stamp on the eagle's wing. However, one extremely rare variety has the stamp right in the center of the eagle's breast. This is the holy grail for collectors, the most famous and desirable of them all. It's like an artist signing his masterpiece right in the middle of the canvas. Only a handful of these doubloons are known to exist today, just 7 of them. Each one is a little different, struck by hand with its own unique characteristics. They were never meant for mass circulation, but were likely created as presentation pieces to show off his skill and to perhaps persuade officials of the need for a national gold currency. They are a tangible link to the fragile, uncertain days of the newly independent United States before the federal mint was even established. The story of the most famous Brasher doubloon, the one with the EB on the breast, is legendary. It was featured in the classic detective novel The High Window by Raymond Chandler, which further cemented its mystique. For decades, it was the centerpiece of some of the greatest coin collections in the world. It passed from one famous collector to another, its provenance becoming as valuable as the coin itself. When you buy a coin like this, you're not just buying the gold, you're buying its pedigree. In January 2021, this very coin, the EB on Breast Brasher doubloon, was sold in a private transaction. The price? A whopping $9.36 million. It's a testament to its rarity, its historical importance, and its incredible story. This wasn't a coin made by a king or a president, it was made by a patriot, a craftsman who put his name and reputation on the line to create a symbol of a new nation's economic independence. It's the American dream, stamped in gold. Let's take a big step back in time, way back to medieval England. The next coin on our list is one of the rarest and most significant coins in British history, the 1343 Edward III florin, also known as the double leopard. This coin is so rare that for over 500 years, people thought it was just a myth. It was mentioned in historical records, but no one had ever actually seen one. It was the stuff of legends, a ghost from England's past. King Edward III introduced this coin in 1344 as part of a major currency reform. He wanted to create a gold coin that could be used for trade across Europe, especially with florins, which used a currency called the florin. So, he created 3 new denominations: the double leopard, worth 6 shillings, the leopard, and the helm. The double leopard was the magnificent centerpiece of this new system. It was a large, beautiful gold coin, one of the first of its kind in England. The design is incredible for its time. It shows King Edward III enthroned, sitting under a canopy with 2 leopard heads on either side of him, hence the name double leopard. The craftsmanship is just exquisite, a real work of medieval art. The problem was, the coin was a complete failure. The government had miscalculated its value. The amount of gold in the coin was actually worth less than its face value of 6 shillings. Merchants and the public immediately rejected it. Nobody wanted to use a coin that wasn't worth what the king said it was. It was a classic case of bad economics. The coin was in circulation for only a few months, from January to July of 1344, before the king gave up and ordered them all to be recalled and melted down to be recoined into a new, more popular denomination called the noble. The double leopard was a financial flop. Because of this swift recall and melting, almost all of them were destroyed. For centuries, numismatists believed none had survived. It was a lost chapter in English coinage. Then, in 1857, 2 specimens were discovered by chance, by boys playing near a river in the north of England. It was an astonishing find that proved the legendary coin was real. Those 2 coins are now housed in the British Museum, safe and sound, but not for sale. The story gets even better. In 2006, a man with a metal detector was exploring a field in the south of England. He got a signal, started digging, and just a few inches down, he found it. A 3rd double leopard. Can you imagine that feeling? Unearthing a piece of history that was thought to be almost entirely lost, a coin that hadn't seen the light of day for over 650 years. It was the find of a lifetime, or maybe 10 lifetimes. This third, and only privately owned example was in fantastic condition. It went to auction and the experts were buzzing. What is a coin with only 3 known examples worth? The final price was £460,000, which at the time was about $850,000, but its value has only skyrocketed since. Today, it's estimated to be worth around $6.8 million. It's a perfect example of how rarity and historical significance create incredible value. A failed coin from the 14th century became one of the most precious treasures in the world. Some coins are valuable because they're rare, some are valuable because of their history, and some are valuable simply because they are breathtakingly beautiful. That's the case with our next coin, the 1907 St. Gaudens Double Eagle with ultra-high relief. Many collectors, myself included, consider this to be the most beautiful coin ever produced by the United States Mint. It's more than a coin, it's a pocket-sized sculpture. The story begins with President Theodore Roosevelt. He was a man who cared deeply about America's image on the world stage, and he thought American coinage was bland and uninspired. He wanted coins that reflected the nation's growing power and artistic sensibilities, something that could rival the magnificent coins of ancient Greece. So, he personally commissioned the greatest sculptor of the era, Augustus St. Gaudens, to redesign America's gold coins. St. Gaudens poured his heart and soul into the project. For the $20 gold piece, he created a masterpiece. On the front, a powerful image of Lady Liberty striding forward, torch in one hand, olive branch in the other, with the U.S. Capitol building in the background. On the back, a majestic eagle flying against the rays of the sun. It was a dynamic, inspiring design that was unlike anything seen before on a U.S. coin. The sculptor's vision was for a coin with extremely high relief, meaning the design would be raised very high off the surface, giving it a 3-dimensional sculptural quality. He wanted it to look and feel like a piece of ancient art. However, this artistic vision clashed with the practical realities of mass production. The U.S. Mint's machinery was designed to strike coins quickly and efficiently. A design with such high relief was a nightmare for them. To strike just one of these ultra-high relief coins, the Mint press had to strike the blank piece of gold multiple times, sometimes up to 9 times, with immense pressure. It was a slow, painstaking process that would often damage the minting dies. The chief engraver at the Mint, Charles Barber, was constantly complaining that St. Gaudens' design was completely impractical for circulation coinage. He was right, but Roosevelt insisted they try. In the end, only about 24 of these experimental ultra-high-relief pieces were ever made. They were never intended for circulation but were created as patterns, as proofs of concept to see if St. Gaudens' vision was even possible. Each one is a work of art, showcasing the design exactly as the artist intended, with incredible depth and detail that was lost in the later, mass-produced versions. These few coins became the stuff of legend. They represent the pinnacle of American coin design, a brief moment when artistic ambition triumphed over practicality. They are incredibly sought after by collectors who appreciate not just their rarity, but their sheer beauty. One of these exquisite examples came to auction and captured the imagination of the collecting world, eventually selling for an incredible $4.75 million. It's a price that reflects its status as a true masterpiece of numismatic art. Every field has its mysteries, its unsolved cases that people debate for years. In the world of coins, one of the greatest mysteries is the 1913 Liberty Head nickel. This is a coin that, according to all official records, was never supposed to be made. The U.S. Mint had officially stopped producing the Liberty Head design in 1912 to make way for the new Buffalo nickel. The books were closed, the dies were supposed to be destroyed, and yet, somehow, 5, and only 5 of these nickels with the 1913 date mysteriously appeared. How did this happen? The leading theory points to a Mint employee named Samuel Brown. He was a bit of a character, a guy who saw an opportunity and took it. It's believed that he clandestinely struck these 5 coins using the old 1913 dies before they were destroyed. He kept them secret for years. Then, in 1919, Brown placed an advertisement in a coin-collecting magazine. He offered to pay a huge sum, $500, for a 1913 Liberty Head nickel. Of course, he already had all 5 of them. It was a brilliant, if sneaky, marketing move. He single-handedly created the hype and mystique around a coin that nobody even knew existed. At a major coin convention in 1920, he finally unveiled his 5 specimens, and the collecting world went into a frenzy. The 5 coins were kept together as a set for many years, sold by Brown to the famous collector Colonel E.H.R. Green. After Green's death, the set was broken up and the 5 coins began their own individual journeys, passing through the hands of some of the most legendary collectors in history. Their fame grew, and they became known by nicknames based on their famous owners, like the Olsen specimen or the Walton specimen. The story of the Walton specimen is particularly wild. George O. Walton, a collector, bought one of the nickels in the 1940s. He was killed in a car crash in 1962, and the coin was with him. Experts at the time examined the crash site and the recovered coins and mistakenly declared his 1913 nickel a fake, an altered date. His family kept it in a closet for 40 years, believing it was worthless. Then, in 2003, the other 4 surviving nickels were brought together for a display at a major coin show. The organizers made a public appeal for the long-lost 5th coin to show up. Walton's heirs heard about this, brought their old coin out of the closet, and took it to the show. Experts from the top grading services examined it, and, in a dramatic moment, declared it to be the genuine, long-lost Walton specimen. It was a discovery that rocked the coin world. That same Walton coin, once dismissed as a fake and hidden in a closet, came to auction in 2018. The bidding was intense for this piece of numismatic folklore. When the hammer fell, it sold for $4.56 million. It's a coin that embodies everything collectors love: extreme rarity, a mysterious origin story, and a dramatic history full of twists and turns. It's valuable precisely because it's not supposed to exist.
Get a drum as a toy for Christmas.
For our final coin, we travel back more than 1,000 years to the heart of the early Islamic world. This is the Umayyad gold dinar from the year 723 AD. This coin is not just a piece of currency, it's a powerful historical document from one of the most important periods in Islamic history. The Umayyad Caliphate was the second of the 4 major caliphates established after the death of the Prophet Muhammad, and it was during their reign that the first distinctively Islamic coinage was created. Before this time, the region was still using coins that were copies of Byzantine and Sasanian designs, often with Christian or Zoroastrian symbols. The Umayyad Caliph Abd al-Malik initiated a major reform to create a purely Islamic currency. These new coins, called dinars, were stripped of all images and portraits, which was a radical departure from the Roman and Byzantine tradition. Instead, they were covered in elegant Arabic script. The inscriptions on these coins are verses from the Quran, proclaiming the oneness of God and the mission of the Prophet Muhammad. They were a way to spread the message of Islam throughout the vast Umayyad Empire, which stretched from Spain to India. Every time someone used one of these coins, they were holding a small piece of religious and political propaganda. It was a powerful tool for unifying the empire under a single faith and a single ruler. The specific dinar that sold for a record price is incredibly special. It dates to the year 105 in the Islamic calendar, which corresponds to 723 AD. What makes it virtually unique is a tiny line of text that reads, Ma'dan Amir al-Mu'minin Bil Hijaz, which translates to mine of the commander of the faithful in the Hejaz. This is the first time a coin from this era has ever been found that names a specific location in what is now Saudi Arabia. This inscription is a huge deal for historians. It provides the first physical evidence of a gold mine that was owned personally by the Caliph himself. The commander of the faithful is a title for the Caliph, and the Hejaz is the region where the holy cities of Mecca and Medina are located. This coin directly links the Caliph to a specific gold source in the heartland of Islam, a fact that was previously only known from medieval Arabic texts. This coin proves those texts were accurate. Only about a dozen of these mine of the commander of the faithful dinars are known to exist, and most are in museums. They were likely struck from the very first batch of gold to come from this newly exploited mine, perhaps as special presentation pieces for the Caliph's court. The gold itself is from a place with a direct connection to the Prophet Muhammad. It's an incredibly powerful and evocative link to the past. When one of these extremely rare dinars came up for auction in 2019, it attracted intense interest from collectors and institutions around the world. It's a coin that ticks all the boxes. It's from a pivotal moment in history. It's incredibly rare. It's made of gold, and it carries an inscription that rewrites a small piece of what we know about the past. The final selling price was £3.72 million, or about $4.8 million. It's a small piece of gold that tells a massive story about faith, power, and empire. So there you have it. 7 coins, 7 incredible stories, and millions upon millions of dollars. From the forbidden gold of the Great Depression to a medieval treasure found in a field, each of these coins has had a journey that's almost unbelievable. They've survived wars, revolutions, and the simple passage of time to become some of the most coveted objects on Earth. It just goes to show you that sometimes the smallest things can hold the biggest stories and the greatest value. When you look at a coin, like the 1794 flowing hair dollar or the Brasher doubloon, you're looking at the birth of a nation. When you see the Umayyad dinar, you're seeing the spread of an empire and a faith. These aren't just collectibles for the ultra-rich. They are vital pieces of our shared human story, preserved in gold and silver. They teach us about economics, art, politics, and the enduring power of history. Every scratch, every mark tells a part of that story. It makes you wonder what other treasures are still out there, waiting to be discovered in an old collection, a forgotten drawer, or buried just beneath the soil. The next record-breaking coin could be found by anyone. These coins aren't just currency, they're pieces of history, each with a story that spans centuries. Which one surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments.